Hey guys, it's Vandy. So back on a Card 5 Vanguard deck profile. So hope you guys enjoyed. Don't like, comment, subscribe, and so sorry. This time we're covering DZ set 3 for Dark States Luquier. So yes, she just came out on Tuesday. Bushy willingly chose to put the entirety of Dark States at the end, and I'm so annoyed because I literally have to record. It's Tuesday, May 28th, by the way. So I'm literally recording this the day she came out just so I can get my uploads on the schedule that I want it to be on. Thank you, Bushy, for effing me over. Anyways, Luquier, even though I've only had one day of testing, I gotta say, is definitely a lot stronger. I misjudged her before when in her reveal video when I said that she needs a 4th attacker. I completely disregarded the fact that she actually had an order because I literally forgot it existed. So honestly, with the deck's inclusion of the order and the new cards and the new Venus Luquier, of course, I do think the deck is actually in a pretty decent position. I want to say the strongest in the world, but I do think a decent position. So I'm going to start shall we and see what we got. First of today, we have our energy generator. Also, one more thing, this deck is really fun. I always say decks are fun, but like this one, it's rare that I actively forget who wins a game, because typically I try to get a deck to win one game, then I try to get the other deck to win the next game. If it doesn't happen, then fair. But I always like to have like the 1v1, like one wins game 1, one wins game 2, and then they both fight it out truly for game 3. This is one of like 3 times in the entirety of me recording videos that I've actively forgotten who won game 1, who won game 2, and only to have game 3 be the mystery, or the one I know. So I'm pretty entertaining. Anyways, energy generator is a standard ride deck. Crest, you might have one in your ride deck. Auto ride deck, when you ride, put this card into your crest zone, give it a second energy charge 3. So cool, free 3 energy. The only card in this deck that actually uses energy outside of the energy generator itself is Venus Luquier, and because you're always going to get the 3 for energy, you don't really have to worry about needing to go second or not. It continues to have 10 energies, and auto beginning of your ride phase, energy charge 3, like I said, and then active once per turn, energy blast 7, draw a card. All around pretty solid. This deck can actually get that Energy Blast 7 on your grade 2 turn and then still be able to consistently pull off Luquier, because again, she only requires 3 energy and you're always going to be able to get that. So all around, the energy generator is actually a nice ride deck, Chris. I think it's pretty cool, and I love Luquier's synergy with it. Again, I've been waiting for like a grade 3 that synergized with the energy zone a lot, and this feels like it. So I'm really happy too, because Venus Luquier was my favorite Excel deck outside of Ezel's, because it had the ability to yeet your entire board into Soul and get another Excel gift. So all around, energy generator, really nice card. Yeah, that's a ride deck, Chris. Then we have our starter and Silverthorn Assistant Iana, Ileana, grade 1, grade 0 boost, 5k shows, 6k base, auto when she's word pump because I can draw a card, standard starter, now spots to free draw if you go second. You can only run any starter. I just choose to make it this one because why not, if it's the theme and she's cool. Then move on to our trigger. So we're going over trigger and Hades Dragon, Deity of Resentment, Gale Magahel, grade 0 boost, 50k shield, 5k power, over trigger in your deck. When revealed as a trigger, move that card, draw a card, choose one from your I guess plus movement for the turn, and if you revealed it during your draw check, activate its addition effect, which you get during your turn. All your vanguards get plus 1000 power and a crit until you end this fight. All around pretty solid. It's a free draw, and whoever is either attacking or defending is either not getting to hit that turn or is going to hit that turn regardless, unless your opponent has a PG. But being able to drive check this and get a permanent plus 10k and a crit on the vanguard is great, because if push comes to shove, you don't want to send your rear guards to Soul via Venus Luquier's effect. Well, you get the 10k and a crit anyways, and on top of that, if you sack this early enough, you're kind of guaranteed to win. I mean, everyone that's played against Dark State, specifically back all the way in the OG set 1, because I think that's when it happened the most. That's when I heard people sack the overs the most. But anyways, back then, anyone that knew about the Dark States grade 1 turn thing, yeah, you kind of just had to deal with it, and you most likely lost. Either way, though, Gamaga Helm is a very solid overtrigger. You can run Valna for Mocha to multi-attacking. You could run Isphoria for recycling, or any of the 2 new overtriggers. I just choose to run Gamaga because I like running the what's it called? I like running the Nation over triggers. There we go. Yeah, so one of Gamaga Helm. Then move on to our normal triggers. 2 copies of Wild's Wild Master Radley, grade 0 boost, 5k shield, 4k base, draw 2 cards, opponent's vanguards are grade 3 Gerda, plus 5 shield, 10k shield. Nice to have. It's a draw triggers, helps increase the hand. Remember, I at this point I don't know what order the deck, or I do know what order the decks are going up in, but I forgot which deck profiles I said what in. But I know in one of them I said that there are some decks where I can just have like an arbitrary number of grade 3s and it'll work out fine, and then there are some decks that I can't. Well, this deck has 2, 6, 7, 11 grade 3s in it, and believe it or not, this deck, even though it draws all of them really easily, somehow works out fine. Do I understand it? No. Do I care to find out? No. Because Riley all around helps out a lot. She helps filter out the cards to help me draw guard power, and she's an extra 10k shield, which is just nice to have. So 2 of. And if you've been paying attention to my deck profile so far, you already know what I'm going to say, and you already know why Riley's at 2. 2 of Hako Hustle. Grade 0 boost, 50k show, 5k power. I don't know why this set I have been like obsessed with the idea of having 2 draws, 2 front, 7 crits. I just have been. Don't ask me why. Is it optimal? Probably not, but this is just how I'm choosing to do this now apparently. Anyways, the 2 fronts are nice. You can run any front you want. If you're gonna actually do this, please be smart. Run Diabolos, Go Natalie. The reason why I don't is because she belongs to an archetype and I refuse to mix archetypes unless they are like a full archetypal mix. So, like I'm taking I'm taking a good amount of Diabolos cards. I'm taking a good amount of Silverthorn cards and crash them together. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. But the other reason why I'm choosing Huckle Hustle is because straight up, Huckle Hustle is probably the one I will sack the most when I need to. Like, I've done enough matches to know like what triggers I will sack more often regardless of what deck they're in. Huckle Hustle is one of those ones where if I need to sack a front offensively, it's most likely going to be Huckle Hustle. And if I need to sack a front defensively, because if not, my important rear guards are going to die, that's where Huckle Hustle is going to come in. So 2 of 2 of. Then we have 3 copies of Dark Football. Bethany, Grade 0 boost, 15k show, 5k power. This can be any crit you want. I choose to make it Bethany because why not? Then we have 4 copies of Stem Deviate, Dragon, Grade 0 boost, 15k show, 4k power, auto rear guard, and then by the booster, put the Soul Chew music 2k for the turn. Sander, just crit. You can run any crit over this. I just choose to run Steam Deviate because extra soul and that can come in helpful depending in very specific situations. So 7 crit to apply with the multi attacks and also the Vanguard having an extra crit. And then 4 Kipper Companion, Grade 0 boost, 50k show, 5k power. You can really run any heal you want here. I just choose to make a Kipper Companion because A, like Huckle Hustle, have really good luck with her, and B, she does actually fit the theme of the circus. So without further ado, let's get into our normies because I realized I kind of let the trigger segment go on for 6 minutes and normally I don't let that happen. Let's go on to 3 copies of Illusionary Lantern Demonic Lady Focaler. The reason why this skill can proc off on turn 2 if you really needed to. Good on boost, back a shield, AK base. Auto, she's placed on rear guard circle from the hand, but energy charge 1. Cool. If it was placed from anywhere, God, this card would be broken in this deck. The other skill is auto rear guard. At the end of battle, this unit boosted. If the energy blasted 3 or more at the same time for the cost of your card's ability this turn, it counts the energy generator, but also Venus over here, just for the record. You get to draw a card and retire her. All around pretty solid. She helps increase the energy, which allows you to possibly get more draws out of your energy generator, which could make the difference at the end of the day. Not to mention the fact that she gets to retire herself to get you more hand cards. You know, she can replace herself and get you better cards. And obviously, she has the moon in the background, so we all know I'm biased towards her regardless. Either way, though, I think she is a very solid grade 1, and I do like her at a 3 of. Then we have 4 copies of Silverthorn Breathing Dragon. So something I learned is I know why I'm better with this version of the deck than I am with the old version. And the reason why I'm better with this version is because I had tunnel vision with Breathing Dragon. Like, I would only exclusively use Breathing Dragon every chance I got. I would mulligan for him. Like, when I mean mulligan for him, I mean like a hard mulligan for him. Like, if I didn't pull it, I mulligan everything. And I would just spam his skill 24/7 if I got the chance. I had really bad tunnel vision with Breathing Dragon. Believe it or not, now in this deck, I've only ever been able to pull it off once. Granted, again, that was only out of like 3 games I've gotten to test with this, but the point still stands. And now the deck is actually working consistently because I don't focus on breathing. And there's a good one boost, 5k shield, AK base. Clip that. I dare you to clip that. Someone is going to clip it, and then we're going to have questions raised. Anyways, auto when placed on rear guard in the back row from their soul. If you have a Vanguard Luquier in its card name, soul boss 1, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets continuous Vanguard. All your front and rear guards get 5,000 power until the end of the turn. All around pretty solid. Just a free soul blast as long as your Vanguard's Luquier and as long as it plays from soul to give your entire front row plus 5,000 power. On top of Luquier's extra skill to get 5,000 power to the front row, maybe Persona Rise as a free plus 20 to front row overall. Honestly, I love Breathing Dragon a lot. I'm glad that I got over the tunnel vision thing because, yeah, spamming Breathing Dragon 24/7 while it was nice was definitely causing me soul problems and making my deck lack a lot more in offensive power, even though it was getting plus 5k to front row. Breathing Dragon is a very nice grade 1. I do like it a lot. It works really well for the aggro turns, and it can proc while the opponent's at grade 2, so it's a nice 4 of. Also, it's a really good rush card because someone commented this dragon is bad, which I don't disagree because it's not as good as like this one. But when you play really aggressively and your opponent's smart enough to kill your rear guards that they know you're going to send to soul, you can then play this to fetch that card right back into soul. I'm just saying, this card works really well for my playstyle, and Breathing Dragon works really well for an early game aggro that can then die and then I can send to soul and then loop the skill. So 4 Breathing Dragon, very solid grade 1. Then we have 4 copies of our PG and Repelled Malice Dragon, grade 1 boost, 0 stills, K base, continuous sentinel. We have 4 sentinels in the deck on spell guards, so choose one units that cannot be hit in battle. And if your hand has 2 more cards, then choose a card from your hand's guard, same PG, nothing to specify about it. Basically, it means if this is only one of the cards in your hand that puts on guard circle, you don't have to discard one, which is great, because that means you can be as aggressive as you want in the early game, spam, and then when your opponent eventually counterattacks you, maybe after killing your rear guards, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, use this to get those two back into soul. You can throw down Repelled Malice, and you'll be fine. All around is a good PG. If you're like me, you're gonna end up with a lot of grade 3s in your hand, and you might not be able to use that discard skill properly, but that's where Inherent Guardian comes along. I always love, like, I know I'm going off topic here, but I always love, like, whenever I play a match, and then, like, in the moment, let me say it first. In editing, it looks like I planned it out perfectly to where the PG actually procs of, like, the free discard skill. But then if we check, like, the audio from the match, you can actively tell it was me figuring out in the moment that I activated the PG skill properly. Like, it's just a 50-50 thing that kind of just happened off of instinct and nothing else. Either way, though, Repelled Mouse Dragon is a very solid PG. You can run Rescue Hate Dragon, I think it's called, or you could run the new PG. I just choose to make a Repelled Mouse Dragon because it came out closer to the time of Luquier's release. Then we move on to our last grade 1 in the deck, 1 of in the rad deck, 3 of in the main deck of Silver and Thorn Assistant Irina, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. So auto when she is ruled upon by a unit with only Pale Moon for its clan, you can check the top 7 for up to 1 card from one of them, put it to soul, shuffle deck. All around pretty solid, sends any free card to soul. And then auto when she's placed on rear guard circle, if your Vanguard has Luquier in its card name, you may soul charge 1. Not a mandatory soul charge. If you're afraid of decking out, you don't have to use it, but it is a way to help increase the soul in case you are also having tunnel vision like I did and spamming Breathing Dragon 24/7, or you're at the very start of your grade 3 turns and you have very little soul to work with and Irina needs to give you more targets. All around, Irina is a very solid grade 1. I do like her skill a lot. She can be placed from anywhere. Her soul charge is not mandatory, and she does make for a nice early game rush, which again can be sent back to soul via Applause Dragon over here. So I do like her a lot. So she's a 3 of in the main deck, 1 of in the red deck for me. Then we move on to 4 copies of probably one of my favorite grade 2s just to play in general, and that is Silver and Thorn Rising Dragon. Grade 2 set 5k shield, 10k base. Auto when placed on rear guard circle, shuffle hand card or soul, draw a card. Doesn't matter what grade you're at, doesn't matter what grade your opponent's at. Hell, if you find a way to play this while both of you are at grade 0, you would get the free draw as long as you have those hand cards to send to soul, which is great because this deck does want to send Luquier to soul over here really early on, so being able to do that on grade 2 turn or being able to do it on grade 3 turn or having like multiple ways to send her to soul is nice. So obviously 4 for that just reason alone. And that continues rear guard during turn if you have a Vanguard of Luquier in its card name, and 2 or more of your units replaced on rear guard from your soul this turn can include itself, plus 10,000 power, and if 4 or more replaced, plus another 10,000 power. So basically 20k in total, which is pretty solid, so 30k base, and that only happens like if you spam out your board. Now the way I played this, I'll get it like the first grade 3 turn, after that the second grade 3 turn, probably not the third grade 3 turn, depending on the situation I probably will, but being able to be a 30k beat stick is pretty solid. And even if it's just 20k beat stick, it's probably getting buffed up by Venus Luquier in both in terms of Persona Rite and just in terms of her regular skill, and maybe even Breathing Dragon too. So all around, Rising Dragon makes for a very solid grade 2, gets hand cards by sending stuff to soul, so it sets you up for later, and gets numbers and as a call target and as a soul charge target. So for Rising Dragon, very good grade 2. Then we have our last grade 2 in the deck, 3 of in the main deck, 1 of in the ride deck, of Silver and Thorn Marionette Lillian, grade 2 and set 5k shield, 10k base. Auto choose wrote upon by you with only Pale Moon for its clan, soul charge 1, then choose a card from your soul, put it to hand. And this is where you can do a cheeky little thing where you can use Irina to then send a PG to soul and then get that PG right out, because Lillian can target anything. But you don't you shouldn't do that in my opinion, but you can if you need to. And then auto when she's placed on rear guard or put on guard circle, if you have a Vanguard of Luquier in his card name, she gets 5,000 power and 5,000 shield until the end of that turn. Armor pretty solid because she's a 15k base and a 10k shield. Now, out of all of the cards in your deck, she's not a call target at all. Like your grade 3 call targets, obviously this for a Venus skill or regular Luquier skill. Obviously your grade 2 call target is Rising, and your grade 1 call target is preferably Breathing, but you can work with any of them really. It's just Breathing's the most preferred. But if you do have to call Lillian, she is a valid option because at least she'll be a 15k and probably a 20k with at least Venus Luquier's skill. So I do like her a lot, and she does have extra guarding power to help mitigate the 11 grade 3s over here. So 3 of in the main deck, 1 of in the ride deck. Then move on to grade 3s. First up, 2 copies of the card that was claimed to be bad, and I only disagree with it because I play tested it, and it literally does fit my style to a T to run a card like this, so I have to stick up for it. 2 of Showered Applause Dragon. By the way, I only run this at 2 of. I didn't know I ran this at 2 of until I started putting this deck profile together. But for the record, in all of those games, I saw Showered Applause Dragon, even though he is the only card in this deck at 2 of. Making that point clear. In fact, he is the lowest here in the deck entirely. The only thing that equals him is this. Well, outside of the triggers, but you get the point. So, anyway, showered applause. Continuously, if your Vanguard's only a pale moon, it also counts as a pale moon. So, cool. That absolutely does nothing. It's just the fact that he gets a pale moon now. All in place on Rearguard Circle, if your Vanguard's only a pale moon, choose a card from your drop zone. You may shove it to Soul. So, you know, being able to put a Rising in there, or Breathing, an Irina, like anything, especially in like the later stage of the game where maybe you need more ways to Superior Californians for max Rising. You can send triggers to Soul, which is all around pretty solid. So good for that. And then continues rear guard to return if any unit was placed on rear guard from the Soul this turn. Doesn't matter if it's itself or something else. Plus 5,000 power to this unit. And then if your opponent's Vanguard to grade 3 or greater, I guess percent instead. So all around 18k to 23k base is pretty solid. It can recycle soul cards for you. It can get you soul cards. And it counts as a pale moon if that was remotely important to you in any way, shape, or form. All around, I love Showered Applause Dragon a lot because it really does help out when I'm willing to go all in on the aggro and the deck works with it because I don't have to worry about my pieces because I can then soul charge them from drop. And as long as this motherfucker gets into the soul, which by the way, both Luquiers can send it to soul, I can just keep calling it back out. All around, Showered Applause Dragon is a good grade 3, so that's why I run as a 2 of. Then we have 4 copies in the main deck, none in the ride deck, of Silver and Thorn Dragon Tamer Luquier. I feel really bad putting her like this, because now it just feels like I'm doing what people did with PBO and PBD, where they ran PBO on the ride deck, and then they just ran PBD in the main deck, and then they would in the main soul charge it. I mean, the only reason I was against that is because, like, you had to rely on hitting both the main and PBD. The reason why I'm okay with doing it here is because if I draw this at all, automatically Venus Luquier herself can send it to soul, so that's fine. It doesn't require an outside card, but also Rising can do it as well, and you're going to spam Rising 24/7, so there's that. Also, the fact that the ride deck can search it. So, like, comparatively, there are 3 cards that could do it at the same time that the new grade 3 was released compared to PBO when there was only one that could do it consistently and didn't have to rely on regular soul charging. So take this rule. Anyways, you're never going to ride her, but here's her skill anyways in case you actually have to for whatever reason. Active Vanguard once per turn, CB1, put a hand card into your soul, choose up to 3 unit cards with different grades from your soul, come to rear guard circle, and your opponent's Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater, all your called units get 5,000 power for that turn. Okay, cool. Get you a board, get you for only 1 CB and get some possible 5k, and auto Vanguard at the end of your turn, put 2 rear guards and soul to draw a card. Okay, the reason why you don't use her is because she does the exact same thing as Venus, but worse, because Venus can still get you the draw, but also get you more pressure on top of it, and not to mention the fact she doesn't cost a CB. I'm going to tell you this right now, this deck only had 2 CB users. I checked, by the way, in the last set, or like the last version of this deck, these 2, and it more or less always ran into a CB problem, at least when I used it. And then in this, well, actually it had 3 CB users, I'm lying, but then in this version, it has 2 CB users, and one of them never goes on Vanguard Circle, and suddenly we don't have a CB problem. Either way, though, Luquier is a nice grade 3 if you have to go into her, because she does give your entire board plus 5, but like you only go into this in the sense of you do not have a copy of her in soul, and that therefore means you're not getting the 5k buff from her, and you need the numbers over like the crit pressure. So 4 of her in the main deck. You mainly use her for soul charging via these 2 skills, but you know, if you have to ride her, because again there's not a copy in soul, it's not the end of the world. Then we, of course, have our main grade 3 of in the main deck, 1 of in the ride deck, of Silver and Thorn Dragon Empress, Venus Luquier. My favorite grade 3 from Pale Moon in the entirety of V-Series, and probably the entirety of Premium 2, counting the V-Series one. Grade 3 to Empress, 13k base, contains Vanguard Circle during turn. If your soul has the Silver and Thorn Dragon Tamer Luquier in it, she gets some 5,000 power. Your opponent's Vanguard's a grade 3 greater, your entire front row gets the 5k instead. So, pretty much 18k base guaranteed as long as she's in soul, and if they're grade 3 or greater, 18k base, but everyone else also gets 5k on top of that. Then her other skills: active Vanguard once per turn, energy blast 3 and start a hand card to soul. Choose any number of your grade 3 unit cards with different grades from your soul, call them to rear guard circle. So not a mandatory choose 4 cards, you can just choose 2, you can choose 3, you can choose 1, who cares, just call them. Hell, technically speaking, you could just, because it says any number, you can just energy blast 3 and then just send her to soul and then not call just so you get the 5k. That is actually a valid option because it does say any number. And then the last goes auto Vanguard. When this unit attacks on anything, shove 2 rear guards to soul to draw a card, and this unit gets 5,000 power until the end of the battle. Then your opponent's Vanguard is also a grade 3 greater, so you'll get a +1 crit for that battle as well. So guaranteed, the second you get Luquier into soul, 18k base, and then she'll be a 23k base when she swings, getting 2 cards of souls. You know, at least 2 of you needs to call from this guy going back in there. But also you are getting that draw, and she might end up getting a crit as well. And in a 4 attack deck with decent numbers for multi-attack, that's pretty solid. All around, I do actually like Venus Luquier a lot. Again, this morning when I revealed her, I was kind of not remembering that this card exists, so I kind of like downplayed it. But yeah, you know, with the consistent, it's literally the upgraded version of Luquier. Like, this skill is now an on-attack skill and actually does better. This skill is just overall better because it splits up into 2 different effects that can give front row power and literally technically does it for free, since nothing else in the deck costs energy outside of the energy generator. It's honestly a good card. I love Venus Luquier a lot. I cannot wait to play her more. So, you know, 3 of in the main deck whenever I die. How technically speaking, I wasn't even going to play her again, but I'm considering the fact of playing her against Ayesha, encounter deck versus encounter decks, but in reality it's because I really want to play Luquier again. Then we have our last card in the deck, 4 of in the main deck of Hurry and Join Silverthorn's Servants. Also, if it wasn't clear, she's the right deck grade 3. I'm pretty sure I just said that, but just in case. Anyways, grade 3 normal order. It can be played from your soul and can be played by counterbossing one regardless, if it's from soul or hand, as long as you have Vanguard Luquier in his card name. Anyways, by paying the cost, choose one of your rear guards and it gets auto rear guard when your Vanguard attacks. Shove this card to soul. Choose a card with only pale moon for its clan and call with great listing equal to your Vanguard from your soul. Call it to rear guard circle and shuffle it until end of turn. So the important thing to note is this becoming a pale moon in soul therefore means you can call it and then just send more shit to soul from drop. Just saying that is a valid option. Or, you know, you could just spam out Rising if that makes the 4th call and it will still proc Rising. All around, this order is nice, especially because literally it's the only CB'er in the deck outside of Venus, or outside of regular Luquier, and because you are actively never going to go into her unless you absolutely have to, feel free to spam this. It's a soul charge target. It gets you multi-attack. It can trigger this thing and this thing. What's not about it? Good 4 of. It's also soul charge target, like I said, for Venus. And without further ado, that's it for the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed. All around, this deck actually does feel fun. It feels like a legit Pale Moon Circus because you're constantly sending stuff to Soul and you get to draw. And because all of the grade 3s have like a purpose to be sent into Soul, like obviously you send her to Soul to proc off Venus skill. Obviously send this into Soul just to play it for free and not lose actual guard power. You can send this to Soul and still proc its skill off of Venus. And not to mention the fact like Rising helps aid in this. Like all around the deck feels like you can just blast out a bunch of cards, get them right back into Soul. Like even though it doesn't send everything back like I missed with the V version of Venus Luquier, it does send back an equivalent amount of cards because, again, you combine a bunch of cards together. And it basically guarantees that once you see a Luquier, like once you see any copy of this, it can be just one, you're automatically going to get it into Soul as long as it entered either the drop zone or the hand. If it entered the hand, guaranteed. Drop zone, you just got to hit this boy, but it's most likely going to happen. Either way, that's it for this deck. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join Discord, follow Twitch, and I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to send up your Vanguards.